Hello and welcome to this special edition of World Affairs. We are coming to you live from the German Embassy here in Accra. Very grateful to the German Embassy, to the ambassador for making time and for giving us this opportunity to have this interview with the German ambassador. This is part of the larger program on world affairs, which we call Time with the Ambassador. The diplomatic community is a major community in any country at all. We live in a globalized world, and it's important to have conversations on international affairs, as well as to provide a space to give the avenue to the diplomatic community as well to talk about the sort of things they are doing here in Ghana. We know that Germany is a major global player in the world, and here in Ghana as well. We have a lot of German organizations, apart from the embassy, doing a lot of work. And so the goal is to throw light, on some of these activities that are happening. My name is Etse Sikanku, and I'm the host of World Affairs. Welcome to the program. Ambassador, His Excellency Christoph Retzlaff, thank you very much for coming on World Affairs. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for coming here. It's a pleasure.
So, before we get down into the details, I just want to find out, how is your stay in Ghana so far?
Great. I arrived with my family about 1 year ago to Ghana, and I must say I like it a lot. Ghana is a great country. I've been traveling to some places in Ghana already. I've been to Kumasi, I've been to Tamale, I've been the coast down to Takoradi, Axim, I've been to the Volta region, and I must say overall there are a lot of wonderful people, a lot of talent and creativity in Ghana. There's a lot of music, there's good food, so everything you need for a good stay here.
Talking about food, what is your favorite food so far in Ghana?
Yeah, I tried some Ghanaian staples, of course, and I would say I would always go for the jollof rice.
Jollof rice. Well, hopefully we'll win in the jollof wars, because Nigeria has jollof as well, and they always claim their jollof is better than ours. I don't know if you've had the Nigerian jollof.
I never had, but I'm sure that the Ghanaian is better.
Thank you very much. That's an endorsement. Great. I mean, it's good to know that you've had a good time so far. Traveled to certain parts of the country. What has been your experience like as a diplomat? Where was your previous station before coming to Ghana?
Yeah, I must say it's the first time I'm posted in Sub-Saharan Africa. It's also my first post as an ambassador. I've been traveling to quite some places in my professional career. I started my career in Moscow in the mid-90s, which was an exciting place after the dissolution of the Soviet Union there, the old Yeltsin era. Then I went to Southeast Asia as the deputy head of mission in 2001. After that, I went to New York and worked for the German representation at the United Nations. And after that, I was for the last 2 years the deputy head of mission, deputy ambassador in Egypt, in Cairo, which was also very exciting. And then I went all the way down south and I came here to Ghana, which was very high on my wish list.
Wow, that's very interesting, a very, very diversified portfolio of diplomatic work. Why exactly was Ghana on your wish list, if I would ask?
It was number 2, but I don't tell you what number 1 was.
Right, okay. But, well, it's great to see that you are in Ghana. One of the things that I want to kick off with, or to start with, is to find out, how would you assess the state of relationship between Ghana and Germany presently?
It's a good question, because exactly this year we are looking back at 60 years of bilateral relations between Ghana and Germany. This is a very strong and very close cooperation and friendship between our two countries, and I'm inclined to say that relations have never been closer and better than they are this year. A fact that is underlined by the recent visit of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana to Berlin. That was his first trip outside of Africa, to Berlin in June to launch the G20 Africa conference. We will very soon have also a very high-level visit from Germany coming here to Ghana. We are in an intensive political dialogue with Ghana. We do a lot in development cooperation. We are increasing the level of German trade and investment here, so things are really going in a good and right direction.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't want to cut you. You said the German political leadership would be visiting Ghana. Can you throw more light on that? Who exactly will be coming and how it's going?
I will keep that a secret, but we will see a very high-level visitor in the next couple of months in Ghana here.
Okay, so we hope that you would alert Class FM and our team on that when it comes.
Sure.
Moving on. In terms of the specific areas of cooperation, you've mentioned that we've had a long history of relationship, 60 years, celebrating it this particular year. So a very, very significant year for Ghana-German relationships. Presently, if you tell us, what are some of the major areas of cooperation between Ghana and Germany?
We are active in many areas of cooperation. The key pillar of our cooperation is, of course, still development cooperation with Ghana here. We have a portfolio of about 50 million euros. We are giving into projects between Ghana and Germany each year. And we focus on 3 areas. This is sustainable economic development, developing a sustainable economy. It's about good governance, especially the financial administration in this country. And the third area that we're active in is agriculture, because agriculture is a very important part of the Ghanaian economy, as you know, and is the #1 job giver for most of the people still in Ghana here.
Right. So economic development, agriculture, and what was the last one?
That was good governance, which is also very important.
And good governance.
Yes.
Right. So how would you assess Ghana so far on all these indicators?
I think Ghana has a lot of potential. If I look back when Ghana reached independence in '57, Ghana was certainly a front runner in Africa. It was not by chance that Ghana was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to become independent. So there's a lot of potential in this country. You have been, just some years ago, the front runner in economic reforms and economic performance in Africa. You were among the top 5 doing business in the investment climate in Africa. And then somehow things developed in not such a good direction, but I think now with the new government, you are on path, you are on track to follow up on these success stories that we've seen in the past. So I'm fundamentally optimistic about the future of Ghana. You have a lot of potential, as I said. You have young, talented, creative people. You have, of course, a lot of mineral resources. You have gold, you have oil, you have gas. You have a vibrant agricultural sector. So we have all the ingredients to make this country a success story again.
Well, thanks for that. Before I move on to Germany on the second aspect of the interview, are there any areas that we could do better or improve, or what would be some of the challenges?
There are, of course, always area one can improve. That's for persons and as for governments alike. I would say in Ghana, the main challenge right now is, of course, macroeconomic stability. You know that Ghana is in a difficult position with the ongoing IMF program. We support the program. We support the prolongation of the program, but Ghana has to make sure that the revenue matches the expenditures. There is a kind of a serious step, of course, in this country. You have to tackle this. The government has to tackle this, and of course, there's also still the issue of corruption here in this country, like in many other countries around the world. Ghana is not a single case. Corruption really is a problem, unfortunately, in many societies, in many countries. We have seen some very good and concrete proposals by the new government, including the institution of a special prosecutor to fight corruption. We're waiting to see this proposal implemented, and I think that will be an important step to really decisively fight corruption here. Absolutely.
It's really important, and I believe that the public agitation for a special prosecutor has not waned down, and I'm sure Ghanaians are looking forward to some of these as well. Now let's turn our attention to Germany. I think that's also very interesting and exciting. The elections are coming up very soon. How's the mood in Germany like?
Yeah, it's election time, so everybody is a little bit excited, there are a lot of discussions, the papers are full. We have a kind of different party system in Germany. We have about 25 or 30 parties competing for the elections, so much more than we have in Ghana here. And we will most probably have in the next German parliament about 5 or even 6 political parties, and there will not be a government only by one party, but we will certainly have a coalition government again, 2 or even 3 parties. And this is certainly one of the main differences to the democratic system in Ghana, that in our system the parliament has an even stronger role than the parliament in Ghana, and because of the need to build coalition governments, the need for compromise in parliament is bigger.
It's very high.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting because compromise is always a very rare word when it comes to politics, where people are always attached to their ideological predilections, and I believe that compromise is really, really important, in politics anywhere. I know that the president, Angela Merkel, is up for election. She's going to probably have a historic fourth term if she's re-elected. But then she has also had a very strong challenge from the Alternative Party and others. How do you assess her chances?
I think most polls in Germany are betting that she will win the elections again. So the recent numbers I've seen from Germany is that will be quite a clear victory for her party, the CDU in Germany. So most people in Germany, I would say, expect her to be the next chancellor in Germany. But of course, she has also a very good candidate from the opposition, from the SPD, Martin Schulz, who is very strong also and who has made a point of social solidarity in Germany, which is always an issue. So let's see how voters decide. We have seen so many cases, Trump in the US and Brexit in the UK, where polls were not reliable, so we will see what happens.
Okay. Now turning our attention to the international community, away from inside Germany itself, I believe I'll be right if I would say that Germany has evolved, as a major player in the world over time in very different ways. But even more so in this contemporary era. We have a new president in the United States, Donald Trump, who you just mentioned, who has sort of believed in a kind of protectionism, nationalism, and interested more in domestic affairs in America. But we've seen Angela Merkel evolve, as I believe, as a de facto leader, of the global system because of her beliefs, which sometimes are diametrically opposed to Donald Trump. And so she has sort of led the EU in one way or the other and the global community, especially with the outreach to immigrants and all of that. So how would you presently see Germany's position in the world? What I'm asking is, what is the foreign policy direction of Germany?
It's a very comprehensive question. Could talk a long time about this. I would say, sure, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel has been around since 2005. So just by the time she has been in office, she is an anchor of stability, not only in Germany or in Europe, but also in the world. She is one of the most experienced global leaders in the world. That will certainly explain the esteem she is seeing from many people in the world and also in Germany. You are certainly also right to say that Germany's role has evolved over the last 2 or 3 decades, especially after German reunification in 1990. Our policy, our German foreign policy, is first and foremost foreign policy for peace in the world. It's for stability in the world. It's for democracy, and it's for human rights. These are the guiding principles of German policy. We are convinced, the Chancellor is convinced, that in the 21st century, you cannot go alone. To tackle the international problems like climate change, like migration, like terrorism, also to ensure financial global stability and things like that, you need international cooperation. You mentioned Germany, the Chancellor would lead the EU. This is not true in the sense you might think it, because in the EU, the important decisions are always taken unanimously. So you have to convince your partners in the EU. You can
just meant in terms of advocacy.
Yes, sure. EU and a strong EU is at the core of German foreign policy. But what I wanted to say is, in international politics, in international diplomacy, it's always about convincing people, about having a good concept, a better concept, and bringing people together. And that's why we are so concerned to see in the last 1 or 2 years developments in the world where people say, we go our country first, because you will not be able to tackle the problems of the 21st century alone.
Well, that's really, really interesting. People are looking forward to this particular election because I know that it's going to have an impact, not just in Germany, but also globally. So I've got to ask you, do you think, or how do you think these elections in Germany would impact issues both domestically and then even on the global stage?
We will see. It's way too early to speculate right now because as I said, what will happen most probably at the evening of election day, we will have the need to build a new coalition. We will have a coalition government by 2, maybe even 3 parties. We don't even know right now which parties that will be. So these parties will sit together and will discuss and negotiate their government program. And this will take, I would say the elections are on the 24th of September, and that will take about 4 weeks or 5 weeks or even 6 weeks. So I would assume that we will see a new German government only at the end of October, and then we will see what especially the plans for foreign policy are. But I think there is one point you can rely on, and this is that the fundamental course of German foreign policy will not shift after the elections.
Okay, so now to our final, very final set of questions. So how do you see Ghana-German relations going moving forward?
As I said at the beginning, I see them developing very well. Yeah? We have unprecedented exchange on the level of president and chancellor. We have a close political dialogue. Our development cooperation is stronger than ever, and we see also some encouraging signs in the volume of trade and investment here. And this is one of the priorities me and my colleagues at the embassy are working for, to bring more German investment to Ghana. When the president of Ghana was in Berlin in June for the G20 conference to launch the G20 Partnership with Africa initiative, he also met leaders of German industry. That was a very successful meeting, and we are planning to have a similar meeting, not on the level of president, but maybe vice president or minister, in Berlin, in Germany, in November. We have seen that interest of German companies to come to Ghana is increasing, so I'm quite optimistic that we see more German investment here, and this is of course so important because it will create jobs. It will create jobs and perspectives for young people.
Okay. And then, in terms of in terms of the culture, are there any avenues, for ordinary Ghanaians to participate in the work of the embassy and even exchanges and all of that? Just a bit on the German work and how people can be involved.
It's a good question. We have actually a lot of German partner organizations active here in Ghana. We have our Cultural Institute, the Goethe Institute. We have the German Academic Exchange Service, the DAAD. So these would be 2 institutions in Accra where Ghanaian people could go for if they're interested in cultural programs, if they're interested to study. In Germany, we have about 400 Ghanaian students coming to Germany each year to study. We have our political foundations here. We have development banks here. We have the GIZ for development cooperation. We have advisors from the German army here, so we have a lot of German institutions here, and all of them offer specific programs for young Ghanaians. I can only encourage your listeners, your audience here, to follow us from the German embassy on our website, on Facebook, on Twitter, and you will see a lot of activities, and we would be happy to see you there one day.
Okay, so what's the Facebook the Facebook name for the embassy, or the Twitter handle? If they would be able to go on there and just follow up with the work of the embassy, because I'm sure a lot of them would like to study in Germany as well.
So the Facebook site is German Embassy Accra, and the Twitter is @GermanEmpGhana. Okay. Maybe you can repeat that a little bit slower for your your audience.
I can do that.
Okay.
So the Facebook name for the embassy is German Embassy Accra, like His Excellency just said. The Twitter handle is @GermanAmpGhana. @GermanAmpGhana, AMP as in AMB and then Ghana, and there's always the website as well to get information. So hopefully the conversations will continue on these platforms. Ambassador, I am so grateful. We want to say we are so grateful for you joining us in this conversation here on a special edition of World Affairs on the section we call Time with the Ambassador. We've been with the German ambassador. And one last thing before you go, are there any particular areas you are looking forward to visiting in Ghana? Have you been up north yet?
Yes, I've been to Tamale, I've been to Mole National Park, That was one of the highlights here. And the other highlight I revealed to you just a couple of weeks ago. I was on a Friday evening in Osu.
Okay.
I went to a small bar and I saw a concert of Manifest.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was the only white guy in the whole room, and I liked it a lot.
Oh, wow, wow. I'm sure
I'm a big fan of Manifest.
Of
I must admit, yeah.
It's good to hear that you enjoy Ghanaian music and that Manifest is one of your guys. Really great to hear that. We hope, we wish you all the best in your stay here in Ghana. We wish better relations for Ghana and Germany, both here domestically and on the international scene, as we continue to improve upon internationalism and bilateral relations across the world. Once again, we've been here with the German ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Christoph Retzlaff, who has graciously joined us for this very special edition of World Affairs. Thank you very much for joining us and continue the conversations in terms of international affairs and international relations. World Affairs, go global, stay global.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.